faster than a brand new kilometre record at sea level, it's here again. The show where you ask and we answer your cycling related questions. It's Ask GCN Anything. Now, first up, we have this question from Marcus, who says, at GCN Tweet, I love the show, keep it up, but how do I know when I need a new chain? Are there performance benefits to a more expensive one? Now, first off, yes, there are some performance benefits from a slightly more expensive chain. They can be a little bit lighter and a bit more harder wearing. So generally speaking, they'll last just that little bit longer over a cheaper chain. But before we get into the detail about how to recognize a chain that's starting to wear out and not performing quite as well, it's really important as we head into the winter months, and this is why this is a particularly timely question, to keep your chain as clean and as lubricated as possible. Because if it's exposed to grime, to dirt, to tiny particles and corrosive salts at this time of year, it will really accelerate the chain wearing out. So keep it clean and keep it lubricated. Now, how to spot a worn chain? Well, basically, you'll hear it first because there'll be a little bit of a rattle, a bit of a chatter on the chain. It won't sit quite as snugly on the sprockets. And also, you need to take a look at the chain close up. So have a close look, and there'll be a little bit of play in the links. You'll even be able to see slight gaps if your chain is overworn. With normally a new chain, all the links will sit nice and snug, and tightly together. And there'll also be, in a slack, loose chain, lateral play as well. Now, this particular subject, Simon tackles in this video.
It can be quite rudimentary, essentially just a piece of metal or plastic that you pop on the chain, and if it's worn out, it will sit flat with the chain. This one here tells you exactly how worn out it is. If it's 0.5, then you're okay to keep going, but you should think about it. And if it fits in 0.75, then it doesn't.
Well, next up we have this question from Andreas M, who asks, what was Johns FTP increase after the training for the Haute Route? Which training plans in trainer road did he pick and how much did he train? Well, thanks very much for this question, Andreas. I mean, John really did enjoy his Haute Route experience, although, as he will testify, it pushed him to the absolute limits of pretty much everything. But I think it's come out the other side, you know, with his eyes wide, and I'm sure he'd kind of want to do that sort of thing again. And I, for one, although I was only briefly involved, really did feel for him. Now, in terms of the training that he primarily did sessions on the turbo trainer, primarily trained indoors. He racked up between 5,000 and 6,000 kilometers in total. Now, he did certain intervals. He did a lot of over-under sessions, so basically pushing himself beyond his FTP, holding it and then going back under. He also did a lot of 20-minute blocks, building his endurance and his power. Now, when he did his first FTP before embarking on the Haute Route, it was 202 watts. And then it built over those 6 months to a rather impressive 250 watts. So some pretty heavy gains there from John, so fair play to him. And, well, here's a look at the ride itself. It really is quite something.
Actually, top what the Col de Madeleine. 15 minutes inside the time limit, so made up a fair bit of time on the clock, which is very good. Just tucking into some nice bread and ham. And then I'll be on my way again.
Well, it's time now for the rapid fire round. Stefan, count us in. Good beeps, here we go. First up is this from YouTube Cyclism, who asks, crank length. I shortened up my cranks on my TT bike to allow me to get lower without closing down my hip angle so much. That's pretty cool, because that is what the British Team Pursuit squad did. Shorter cranks, actually more aerodynamic. Next up is this from Shane Burgle. Just want to say thanks. I was able to do a full 11-speed conversion thanks to your maintenance videos. Thank you very much indeed. Next up is this from Manan Dabos. I have a 1428 teeth freewheel on the back and a triple 44, 34, 24 on the front. Is that good gearing to be starting out with? I'm about 6 months into cycling and I have a Foxter 2.ZX. Well, Manan, that is absolutely fine. Don't see a lot of people using triple chain sets these days. It's mostly compacts, but what you've got on board there should get you up pretty much any climb in the world, regardless of your fitness. And, well, for me, enjoy cycling, that should be absolutely fine. Next up we have this from Wei Ting, who says, will pro bike sponsors roll gravel bikes out at Paris-Roubaix in 2018? I've never thought of that. Let's wait and see. There's a few bikes, I know a couple of bikes now, Specialized in particular, the geometry on their bike on their Specialized Roubaix is very similar to a gravel bike. So who knows? We shall see. We wait with bated breath. Next up is this from Larry Hillier. What videos does GCN have regarding sprint interval training? Well, Larry, thanks for getting in contact. Just type in sprint intervals into GCN and we've got a wealth of different sprint videos there for you. Hope that helps. Next up is this from Benjamin Knudsen. Why not make some more and new videos about track cycling? Very, very good question indeed. We've got a few videos on track cycling. One in particular we did with Chris Hoy a couple of years ago. We also have particular videos explaining all the different track events, but perhaps that's something we'll look at in the future. And finally is this. Now there's a few of you got in touch with me mixing up the bones in our legs. Really I should know about this, shouldn't I? Although I'm not trained in any medical issues, really I should know what the bones are. So this is from Janie Greenhaw. The femur is your thigh bone. I fall on my sword. I'm sorry. I got it wrong. Well, rapid fire done and dusted. I'll take a bit of a deep breath, slow things down with this question down in the comment section from Mohammed Elam, who asks, Hi GCN, I'm an Indonesian cyclist and I injured my left knee ligament not too long ago. I'm still riding my bike at least once a week with a distance of between 40 and 60 kilometers, but sometimes the other half of my ride, my knee starts to hurt a bit. Have you got any tips on a training method to prevent that? Thanks very much. Well, Mohammed, sorry to hear of your knee injury and thanks very much for getting in contact. Now, a lot will depend in relation to recovering from your injury on how it occurred in the first place. Was it something acute? Was it basically the result of a crash and an injury sustained in a crash? Or was it something a little bit different? Was it due to the position on your bike? Was it overtraining, for example? Or was it something as simple as having your shoe plate in the wrong place, which can cause, obviously, knee injuries? Now, what I'd suggest you do, if you haven't done it already, is if you can, go to see a specialist. Give them the circumstances of your injury, pinpoint what the problem is, and they'll look at the root cause and perhaps give you some exercises and some more expert advice on trying to sort it out. If you can't get to see a specialist, then what I would do was take the very, very patient approach. You say you're going out on your bike for a little while and it's causing you pain. Basically, ride as much as you can. As soon as you feel any pain at all, that's when you need to really knock things off. I go home and basically rest, rest, rest. The most important thing with any joint injury, including knee injuries, is patience. I've been there many times myself. Sometimes it takes several weeks off the bike without any riding at all, in company with some specific exercises to keep the muscles working. But most of all, you need to, show a lot of patience. And hopefully, in time, it'll rectify itself. Now, in the meantime, while you're watching a bit of GCN on YouTube, and to help prevent something like this potentially happening in the future, how about watching this video here?
The first place you should start is by looking at your saddle height and position. Now, get it too high or too low, and you'll be putting considerable extra strain on your knees. Now, talk to a fellow cyclist, and with one look, they should be able to tell you if there are any glaring errors in your position. But you can, of course, do it yourself as well.
Well, that's it for another edition of Ask GCN Anything. Please do keep firing your questions in down on social media or in the comments section using the hashtag #TalkBack. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Global Cycling Network, you can do so for free by clicking on the globe, and that way you won't miss another video. Now, speaking of videos, we have two more for you that I think you might like. As we head into the winter months, we all sometimes need a little bit of inspiration. So how about clicking just here for our top 10 inspirational cycling quotes? Now, a lot of us ride indoors during the winter, so how about clicking just down here for a training video where I rode along with Team Sky.